Do you ever feel a persistent whisper in the depths of your being? A quiet yearning for something more, something profoundly authentic. You sense a higher potential, a different way of existing, yet it remains just beyond your grasp. What if I told you that the very things you cling to, the beliefs you hold sacred, the parts of yourself you consider indispensable, are precisely what are holding you captive? What if the path to unlocking your true power, to reaching a higher vibration, demands not accumulation, but a radical act of surrender? For too long, you've been told that growth is about adding, about acquiring, about becoming more knowledge, more skills, more possessions, more validation. But this is a profound deception, a societal hypnosis that keeps you perpetually chasing an external horizon. You've been conditioned to believe that your identity is a mosaic of these external fragments, a fragile construct built on the shifting sand of approval and material gain. This isn't growth, it's a gilded cage, a sophisticated form of self-imprisonment. The truth, the uncomfortable, liberating truth, is that to truly ascend, you must first descend into the shadows of your own making and confront what must die. This silent struggle, this relentless pursuit of external validation, is a slow poison. It drains your energy, siphons your authenticity, and leaves you feeling hollow, even when surrounded by what appears to be success. You find yourself trapped in cycles of anxiety, constantly seeking reassurance, perpetually adjusting your mask to fit the expectations of others. Your relationships feel superficial, your passions wane, and a deep sense of unease gnaws at your core. You are living a life that is not truly yours, a life dictated by the echoes of past wounds and the projected desires of a world that doesn't truly know you. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a quiet annihilation of your spirit, a slow erosion of the very essence that makes you unique and powerful. The great Carl Jung understood this profound paradox. He spoke of the individuation process, a journey not of becoming someone else, but of becoming who you truly are, stripped of all the layers of conditioning and societal expectation. Nietzsche, in his radical pronouncements, urged us to become who we are, to overcome the herd mentality, to forge our own values in the crucible of self-discovery. And the Stoics, with their unwavering focus on inner citadel, taught us the ultimate freedom lies in discerning what is within our control and what is not, and then letting go of the latter with fierce resolve. These aren't just ancient philosophies. They are blueprints for a profound psychological revolution within you. They point to a truth that is both terrifying and exhilarating. To truly live, parts of you must first perish. The core revelation, then, is this: your higher vibration, your authentic power, is not something you gain. It is something you uncover by shedding what no longer serves you. It is a process of psychological purification, a radical act of letting go. This isn't about self-improvement in the conventional sense. It's about self-excavation. It's about recognizing the psychological dead weight you carry, the ghosts of past selves, the narratives that bind you, and consciously choosing to allow them to dissolve. This is the hidden truth, the secret wisdom that few dare to embrace. True liberation comes from the courage to dismantle your own prison. But this is just the surface. This understanding of shedding is merely the first step. In the next part, you'll understand something darker, something more insidious that operates beneath your conscious awareness, subtly sabotaging your every attempt at genuine freedom. We must go deeper now into the darker psychological truths that govern your existence. You see, much of what you believe to be you is not an authentic expression, but a carefully constructed persona, a defense mechanism born from early wounds and societal pressures. This persona, while offering a semblance of safety, also acts as a powerful manipulator, constantly seeking external validation, approval, and recognition. It thrives on comparison, on the applause of others, on the illusion of control. It is the part of you that fears vulnerability, that recoils from genuine intimacy, that would rather maintain a comfortable lie than face an uncomfortable truth. This unconscious behavior, this relentless pursuit of external affirmation, is an emotional trap, a self-imposed cage that keeps you perpetually chasing a mirage. You are not just being misled by the world. You are, in many ways, actively participating in your own deception, driven by forces you barely comprehend. Consider the manipulation you inflict upon yourself, often unknowingly. You manipulate your emotions to fit a situation. You manipulate your words to please. You manipulate your very presence to avoid conflict or rejection. This constant performance, this internal charade, is exhausting. It fragments your energy, leaving you depleted and disconnected from your true self. You become a chameleon, adapting to every environment, losing sight of your original colors. This isn't strength, it's a profound weakness, a surrender of your sovereign self to the whims of external opinion. The deeper you delve into this pattern, the more you realize that the greatest manipulation you face is often from within, from the parts of you that refuse to die, that cling to their perceived necessity. When you begin to apply this knowledge, when you start to consciously identify and allow these 7 things to die, a profound transformation begins. You reclaim your energy, not just physically, but psychically. The constant internal chatter, the relentless pursuit of external validation, the fear of judgment, these begin to recede. You discover a quiet strength, an unshakable inner peace that is impervious to the shifting tides of the external world. This isn't a fleeting feeling, it's a fundamental shift in your state of being. You become rare, an individual who operates from a place of genuine authenticity, unburdened by the need to perform or please. Your control over your own emotional landscape becomes absolute, not through suppression, but through understanding and acceptance. You become truly independent, not just in action, but in spirit, a master of your own destiny, guided by an inner compass rather than external pressures. This is the power that awaits you, a power born from the ashes of your former self. You are no longer the same. The person who began reading this is already dissolving, making way for something more potent, more real. You have glimpsed the shadows, felt the discomfort, and now you stand at the precipice of a profound choice. This journey of allowing parts of yourself to die is not a journey of loss, but of ultimate gain. It is the path to becoming the architect of your own soul, the sculptor of your own reality. You are shedding the illusions, dismantling the false idols, and stepping into the raw, untamed power of your authentic self. Are you ready to truly live, to embrace the necessary deaths that precede your rebirth? The question is not what you will gain, but what you are willing to let go of. What parts of your current self are you ready to sacrifice on the altar of your higher vibration? Let me know in the comments below. Your journey of transformation begins with that honest answer. The journey we've begun, this descent into the necessary depths, is not for the faint of heart. It demands a courage that most people never find, a willingness to look unflinchingly at the parts of yourself that have become comfortable, even cherished, yet are slowly suffocating your true potential. We spoke of the general principle, the shedding, the psychological purification. Now we must name them, these 7 things that must die for your higher vibration to truly emerge. Each one is a tether, a subtle chain binding you to a lower state of being. And as we explore each, I want you to feel the weight of its presence in your own life, the insidious ways it has limited you, and the profound liberation that awaits its demise. The first thing that must die is your need for external validation. This is perhaps the most pervasive and insidious of all. From the moment you were a child, you were taught to seek approval, to perform for praise, to adjust your behavior to fit the expectations of parents, teachers, peers, and eventually society itself. This isn't just about wanting to be liked. It's a deep-seated psychological addiction. You constantly scan the environment for cues, for affirmation, for a sign that you are good enough, smart enough, attractive enough. This need is a bottomless pit, an insatiable hunger that can never truly be filled by external sources. Every decision, every action, every word you utter becomes filtered through the lens of what will others think. You become a puppet, dancing to the invisible strings of collective opinion, sacrificing your authenticity for a fleeting sense of acceptance. This isn't living, it's performing. And the performance is exhausting, draining your vital energy, leaving you perpetually anxious and unfulfilled. To truly ascend, this desperate craving for external applause must wither and die. You must learn to be your own audience, your own judge, your own source of affirmation. But how do you even begin to dismantle something so deeply ingrained? This leads us to the second thing that must perish, your attachment to your perceived identity. This is not your true self, but the story you tell yourself and others about who you are. It's the collection of labels, roles, achievements, failures, and opinions that you've accumulated over a lifetime. I am a successful professional. I am a victim of my past. I am an introvert. I am someone who always struggles with X. These identities, while offering a sense of structure and predictability, also become rigid prisons. They dictate your behavior, limit your possibilities, and prevent you from evolving. When you cling to who you are, you resist who you could be. You defend these identities fiercely, even when they cause you pain, because the thought of letting them go feels like a death of self. And in a way, it is. It's the death of a limited, self-imposed definition, making space for the boundless, ever-evolving being you truly are. Jung understood the danger of identifying too strongly with a persona, the mask we present to the world. He knew that true individuation required a radical detachment from these superficial constructs. This brings us to a more subtle, yet equally destructive force. The third thing that must die is your fear of discomfort and uncertainty. You live in a world that constantly promises comfort, convenience, and predictability. You seek to avoid pain, to sidestep challenges, to remain within the familiar boundaries of your comfort zone. But growth, true growth, happens at the edges of your known world, in the crucible of discomfort. When you resist uncertainty, You resist life itself. You cling to what is known, even if it's detrimental, because the unknown feels threatening. This fear keeps you from taking risks, from pursuing your deepest desires, from embracing new experiences that could profoundly transform you. It keeps you small, stagnant, and perpetually stuck. Nietzsche, with his concept of amor fati, the love of one's fate, challenged us to embrace all of life, including its hardships and uncertainties, as necessary for our becoming. To unlock your higher vibration, you must cultivate a fierce acceptance of discomfort, a willingness to step into the void of the unknown, trusting that within that void lies the raw material for your greatest expansion. Now, let's delve into something even more deeply rooted, something that often operates beneath your conscious awareness. The fourth thing that must die is your addiction to your own suffering. This might sound provocative, even offensive, but hear me out. Many people, without realizing it, derive a perverse sense of identity, even a strange comfort, from their pain, their grievances, their past traumas. They replay old wounds, rehearse past injustices, and cling to narratives of victimhood. This isn't to diminish genuine suffering, but to highlight how the ego can become deeply invested in it. Your suffering can become a familiar companion, a way to explain your limitations, a means to garner sympathy or attention. It can feel safer to remain in the known landscape of your pain than to venture into the terrifying possibility of true healing and joy. This addiction to suffering creates a dense, low vibrational energy field around you, repelling opportunities for growth and keeping you tethered to the past. To truly rise, you must be willing to release the story of your suffering, to forgive, to let go, and to step into the lightness of being that awaits you. This requires a radical act of self-compassion and a fierce commitment to your own liberation. This leads us directly to the fifth thing that must perish: your need to control outcomes. You live in a world that constantly tells you that if you just work hard enough, plan enough, strategize enough, you can control every aspect of your life. But this is an illusion, a source of immense anxiety and frustration. Life is inherently unpredictable, a dynamic interplay of forces far beyond your individual will. When you cling to the need to control every outcome, you are constantly battling against the natural flow of existence. You become rigid, stressed, and unable to adapt to the inevitable changes that life throws your way. The Stoics understood this profoundly. They taught us to focus only on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our reactions, and to surrender with grace to everything else. This isn't passive resignation, it's an active, powerful choice to align with the larger currents of life. When you release the need to control, you open yourself to possibilities you could never have orchestrated, to synchronicities that emerge from a place of trust and surrender. Your higher vibration cannot flourish in an environment of constant resistance and struggle. It demands a profound trust in the unfolding of life itself. We're getting closer to the core now, to the very fabric of your inner world. The sixth thing that must die is your attachment to your limiting beliefs. These are the silent architects of your reality, the invisible chains that bind you. I'm not smart enough. I'm not worthy of love. I'll never achieve my dreams. Money is hard to come by. These aren't objective truths. They are programs running in your subconscious, often inherited from childhood, reinforced by past experiences, and perpetuated by your own internal dialogue. They dictate what you believe is possible for you, shaping your actions, attracting certain experiences, and repelling others. You operate within the confines of these self-imposed mental prisons, often unaware of their existence. Jung's work on the unconscious mind revealed how deeply these patterns influence us, how they can sabotage our conscious intentions. To truly unlock your higher vibration, you must become a ruthless investigator of your own mind, identifying these limiting beliefs and consciously choosing to dismantle them. This is an act of profound self-liberation, a reclaiming of your mental sovereignty. It's about recognizing that your thoughts are not facts, but choices, and you have a power to choose thoughts that empower rather than diminish you. And finally, the seventh and perhaps most challenging thing that must die is your resistance to your own shadow. This is the part of you that you've disowned, repressed, and hidden away, often out of shame or fear. It's the anger you refuse to acknowledge, the jealousy you deny, the selfish desires you deem unacceptable, the creative impulses you've suppressed. You project these disowned parts onto others, judging them fiercely, or you keep them locked away in the dark corners of your psyche, where they fester and subtly control you. Jung called this the shadow, and he insisted that true wholeness, true individuation, requires integrating these rejected aspects of yourself. This isn't about becoming your shadow. It's about acknowledging its existence, understanding its origins, and reclaiming the energy it holds. When you resist your shadow, you fragment your being, creating an internal war that drains your vitality. When you embrace it, not with judgment, but with curiosity and acceptance, you become whole. You integrate all aspects of yourself, transforming what was once a source of shame into a wellspring of power and authenticity. This is the ultimate act of self-mastery, the final death that leads to true resurrection. You are no longer the same. You have peered into the abyss of your own making, identified the chains that bind you, and felt the stirrings of a profound inner revolution. The discomfort you feel now is not a sign of weakness, but a signal of awakening. It is the friction of old paradigms crumbling, making way for a new, more powerful reality. The person who began this journey, clinging to validation, to a fixed identity, to comfort, to suffering, to control, to limiting beliefs, and to a fragmented self, is already dissolving. You are becoming something more, something authentic, something truly sovereign. The question now is not whether these things will die, but whether you will consciously participate in their demise. Are you ready to step into the fire of transformation, to allow these 7 aspects of your former self to burn away, so that the radiant, higher vibrational being you are destined to be can finally emerge? The choice is yours, and it is the most important choice you will ever make.